made a fully funded bid to acquire a majority stake in the legendary diamond giant De Beers. Now, this directly enters a space that Botswana has enjoyed or dominated for some time, which is currently in very tense negotiations. Botswana is to not only review its historic partnership with De Beers, but to push for a majority stake. Now, this is, one could wonder if it's maybe a clash of national interests, or the start of a broader Pan-African approach to owning and managing Africa's mineral wealth. So we're going to unpack this, and we're going to be joined by Economist Maatla Kgasa. Let me take this time and welcome you onto Botswana Connects. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. So maybe let's take it from your perspective. What is ENDIAMA's quest to jump into the race mean?
So for the longest time, De Beers has been the largest monopoly in terms of like diamond sales and mining. So now Angola finds itself in a very awkward position. So you know what? I think for the longest time, De Beers has been a sole controlling entity, but now they feel like they want to also partake in this sector by also making sure that they're able to sell and mine independently.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to take it take a bit of background to the story, a bit of the backstory that we're sitting here. Yes, we're seeing Anglo-Americans interested to perhaps limit its stake on De Beers. We're seeing Botswana showing interest to have a bit more stake, a larger stake, and now we're seeing Angola. Just please put these dynamics into perspective for us.
All right. So for the longest time, Anglo-American is the parent company that owns De Beers. And then De Beers itself it's also another company that owns Botswana, just to kind of like break it down.
Right.
So now for the longest time, the diamond market has not been performing very well. And Anglo-American finds itself in a very awkward position. So you know what? We think it's time for us to exit this field, because remember, Anglo-American is a mining company.
Yeah.
They have platinum interest, they have gold interest and gas interest. But they're saying, you know what? We think that it's time we exit the diamond market. So now, us being Botswana and also being a great diamond producing company, we are challenged enough to say, you know what, if Anglo-American is leaving, then perhaps it's time for us to also take ownership and get a controlling stake. This is where now Angola comes in and says, you know what, Botswana, for the longest time, Anglo-American has been the majority owner. And we think that as all diamond producing companies, we all have to co-own De Beers so that no country is controlling this diamond interest. So I think this is now where everything has started. To see, you know what, all of us, let's just make sure that there's nobody who has the majority stake to bully another country and control the demand and supply. So let's all come to the table. Yeah. You know what? We're going to own this thing together.
Because one could wonder there, so is that a clash of national interests or perhaps, what does it say to long-standing multilateral relations? So you want to comment on that?
I think it is. It is because now I think diamond trade is very complex, but it's always kind of like thrived on scarcity, whereby there's one country or one entity that is able to manipulate the prices through demand and supply. And so you can imagine if all countries are sitting at the table, unfortunately, it's going to push us. For instance, I'll give you an example. So Botswana has for the longest time, enjoyed a very different relationship with De Beers. In other countries, when I want to mine diamonds in a country, the only thing that I get is mining licenses. But with us, Botswana, we own UTCB, we co-own Botswana. We are also able to push agendas like diamond beneficiation because we are co-owners. So now you can imagine if Angola says, oh, Botswana, we want to co-own this arrangement. Two. Sooner or later, they're going to say, oh, Botswana has DTCB where they're sorting and valuing diamonds. So Botswana, unfortunately, now all those diamonds are not going to be sorted in Botswana. So we also want to do our own thing. So you can imagine, a lot of things are going to come into place. So it's very important that I think Botswana maintains this majority stake in this entity.
Okay, yeah. And especially diamonds, one might wonder, what's the fuss? Currently, the market is not very fruitful to either player, really. So, and then this interest, this new interest that we're seeing, well, both Botswana and Angola's, what is that saying? Is it perhaps backing up the wrong tree, or is it how smart an economic move this is?
I think it's very important. For instance, so diamond contributes 30% to our GDP. and 70% to our revenue, right? And also now, as the coal continues to evolve, things are changing. So now, in the past, okay, when it comes to like diamond sales, DBS was controlling 90% of the rough diamond market, which means they mine, they sell. So now you can imagine Angola is, oh, okay, there's an opportunity for us to also mine and sell and also co in this. And so now the first not okay, as Angola, we can also maybe make sure we can participate at Botswana's level. So that's why maybe there's this fast and increased interest in owning the stakes Anglo-American.
Okay.
So yeah.
So what do economics analysts say, or how do they look at the future of diamond and diamond mining? Or is the current situation nothing to go by, or it's just cyclic, we'll come back here another day?
Unfortunately, for the longest time, and for the past 5 years, they are saying that, you know what, this is not a cycle, this is what we call a structural change. When unfortunately, even if things go to normal, they never go back to
where they were
before. So now, like you can imagine, like I said, for the longest time, DBS was controlling the diamond market, where 90% of the rough sales of diamonds were controlled by DBS. But now they control 27%. So now, unfortunately, things will never go back to normal, but it's an opportunity for us to rebirth ourselves and see, what are the opportunities here? Do we co-own? Do we get minority shares? And how also do we able to make sure we control these diamonds to be able to push policies that are diamond beneficiation?
Yeah. But what are the prospects when you mention diamond beneficiation? Because I think the outlook of producer countries like Angola honestly has to take a huge shift. And when economics is looking at that, well, perhaps the future of diamond mining is more focused on, I don't know what you call it in economics, now they're above past production activities. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about that. And in fact, looking at Botswana and looking at the Pan-African interest in this past mining, past extraction activities.
So now I think we are seeing we're going to see insane changes. Like I'm saying, in the past, companies were just happy with licenses. You're going to come and mine, and then we're just going to give you licenses and even pay you royalties. Now they're saying, I think Botswana has this, trademark deal with Anglo-American. So all of us now, we want to also go into ownership and control, where we are also able to push our own policies. So that's another interesting thing. I think another thing is that also, as Botswana, we find ourselves in a very tricky position. So if we allow we have been able to enjoy this monopoly through DBS. That's why we also be able to get so many returns. So we have to be able to maintain this stake by just making sure we protect our interest through owning the majority stake. Okay.
And looking broader beyond diamonds, are there any lessons there, or does this signal any wider trend or wider interests to look at?
I think beyond diamonds diversification, we have talked about this thing for the longest time. So though also at times this feels like our diamonds going around in circles. For the longest time, you can imagine even the new government, when they came into board, they were saying, we think we need to pivot from diamonds. So now they're saying, even though we are pivoting, we still need to increase our stake in DBS. So you can imagine that confusion. But Ella, still going forward, as experts are saying, unfortunately, the diamond market, this rupture, things will never go back to the same. So diversification is very important, but also still, you can imagine if a commodity is contributing 30% to your GDP, you can't just overnight say, okay, we're going to let this thing go. Which means now you have to make gradual changes by still making sure, hey, this thing that is bringing so much to us, how do we slightly get over it, but still making sure we have control? So that's why this thing is very important. Okay, as much as we want to exit, we should exit in our own terms and while we still have the power.
I'm wondering then, because diamond, as you said, the diamond market is a very delicate, very complex, area. I don't know then, we're pushing for stake. Are we ready? Are we poised for it? Are we capacitated for it? Yes, we do have sorting like DTCB and yes.
I think we are ready. We made quite significant moves in the past where, for instance, Botswana mines the diamonds, but then there was, we want to benefit from this diamond, and then site holders, the sales of diamonds moved from London to Gaborone. So now we are mining, we are sorting, we are also selling, which means in all the value chain, we are involved in all stakes. So more than any country, I think we are ready. That's why Angola says, I think we need this thing, because if they acquired a stake in DBS, they're also acquiring a stake in DBGS and in DTCB. So they're also acquiring stakes in the subsidiary companies. So that's why this is very important to them. So I think for us, we are more than ready, but also I think the government is going to try and go the route of, forging partnerships with investors. Because we don't have the money. You can imagine. So Anglo American values this stake at like 4.9 billion pula. Yeah, they're stake in DBS. So that's a lot of money that we don't have currently. Now our only route is say, oh, you know what? I think we need investors. So I've heard talk of investors from Dubai and all these countries that are going to fund our acquisition and make sure that Botswana maintains its stake.
Okay, well, fine. And then what's the significance on now ENDIAMA's bid for that same share?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think now what ENDIAMA is saying is like, you know what, Botswana, we don't want to be the majority shareholder. We want to bring on board South Africa, Namibia, and all the diamond countries in Africa that are producing. So, no country should have majority. All of us should be equal shareholders. So that's their approach. That is going to change a lot of things, which we need to fight back, because losing our control means we're going to lose so much. Sooner or later now, this diamond shooting company is going to close, because every company is going to say, since we are all equal partners, unfortunately, we want to sort our own. So almost every month, diamond buyers come from abroad to DTCB to buy these diamonds. So now you can imagine all the other countries are going to say, oh, Botswana, you are selling your own diamonds. We're going to sell ours as well.
Okay, but as the interests of Pan-African free intra-trade, within continental Africa, I don't know how this augurs with that, because so everybody that will be doing that. Yes. What's the economics there?
So unfortunately, diamonds tend to go against the norm. So with diamonds, Ghana diamonds function from a perspective of diamond supply. So DBS has been able to control the diamond market because they mine, they sell, they value. And also they're able to control the market. For instance, if there's a slump or there's an increase in diamonds in the market, they can stockpile. So now you can imagine if every single company is going to be able to sell Harare, there's no control. The diamond market only thrives when there's single and a sole era of focus and control and management through sale from the back end and front end. So unfortunately, the diamond sales cannot function high or every country can sell, every country can mine, and so we can't function independently. It has to be from a single repository.
I would have thought, just as a layperson, from my layperson observation. But then, in terms of the relationship that each country has already forged with DBS, I want to comment on that, because I could patriotically say, no, but we have had a symbiotic relationship with DBS.
I think in this one, I think Botswana has the larger hand, maybe a stronger leverage. Because like I'm said, unlike other African countries, we are the only one which is mining, sorting, and valuing, which means also stake-wise, also already in DBS, Ghana, we own 15%.
Yes.
So we're gonna surely, if I own a smaller stake in a company and you want to sell it, you have to come to me first, because we are together in this thing. That's another thing. So unlike other African countries, so that gives us leverage. So no, Botswana, perhaps we need to consider you first. So that's another angle that maybe gives us a little bit of leeway and edge, but it's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult to be able to fend off these other things, because like we are saying, also DBS now has open mines in Angola. DBS is venturing into other diamond mines in Angola as well. So it's a very, very tricky slope that we find ourselves in.
But can you call it from your analytics?
I think that we're in a very strong position. Like I'm saying, in Botswana, we are mining, we are selling, we are doing every single thing. But other African countries are not doing anything. So now, if you are selling a company, you want to say, no, unfortunately, I would rather sell the somebody already who has the whole value chain. Angola doesn't have this thing. So
I think we have a very powerful story.
We do.
But our diamond story also is very powerful, because it is the story of impact. It is a story of changing lives,
resilience,
of resilience, but then also changing lives. I mean, we're all diamond babies in what we call free education.
Free education, health.
It is thanks to the diamond, and but all this has been taken, at least perhaps has been done through the government's, responsibility over the interests of the peoples. And I want to speak about participation, citizen participation in the diamond story, in the diamond game. How much of that, how much can we leverage from that? Perhaps if we're starting to engage these value chains, citizens, would that have any impact? Citizens' participation.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So one of the things about having ownership or having a larger share is that now you can dictate terms. Oh, so now we have mined, we have valued, we have sorted, we have sold. I think it's time for now, since you have the power and leverage, to now also go into the jewelry market, where now also the diamond beneficiation doesn't just end at the rough diamond stage. Yeah. So I think it's very important to say, you know what, this stake is more than just buying the companies. It's making sure that as Botswana, this diamond, beneficial to the core. So I think that's a very critical point. With beneficiation, we are going to go over and beyond the norm and say, but we are going to be maybe the first African country that is jewelry and producing just things that come from this diamond.
Okay, Maatla, I want to close off with perhaps your view or your views on takeaways that we can make. Africa has largely been is a resource-rich continent, has largely been just an extractive continent, and perhaps watching this unfold, this drama unfold, what takeaways perhaps we could wrap up with?
I think that it's time for African countries to renegotiate their agreements. Some of these agreements are very monolithic and they are very, very old, because some of them are actually negotiated during times that was still on roads, where the agreement was that, you have diamonds, I'm just going to mine and then sell them. But I think Botswana's, deal with Anglo-American has been very revolutionary. There's no relationship like this in the world, where we say, no, Anglo-American, you are mining and you're just, extracting and living. We want to also be able to participate. You want to own companies that are valuing our sorting. So I think this just goes across the board, whether it's diamonds, whether it's oil, whether it's gas. African countries are exporting their oil in raw form to Europe for refineries. So now it's time for us, we want to refine this oil here and also make sure we add value to it and just not export it in raw. So I think that's the new angle that I'm seeing, and it's very thrilling to see that we want to push things to that level. Okay. That's the only way we can be able to really push our economies and so on.
And I'm glad that you came through to share your view, your learned view around this, because, of course, we would sit there perhaps nervous or uncomfortable. And I wonder what, in closing, though, after having laid it out like that and unpacked it like that, is it a position where we are already nervous at the slow rate that diamonds are being sold? Should we be nervous? Well, it's just a part of the process, or is it something that, as we sit here as citizens, we should be worried?
I think we should be confident. I was watching the president's speech where he was, I think it's time for Botswana to own more, and I think with his stance and confidence, it shows that he's very dedicated to making sure that we are not left in the dark. So as much as we should be a little bit cautious, but I think we are in a good space to move forward and make sure we continue and have this tight leash on our diamonds. So I think all is not lost. We are still in a good position to make sure there's something that we can hold on to as far as our diamond story and beneficiation is concerned.
Thank you so much, Maatla. Thank you for coming through.
My pleasure.
Well, it was a bit of a surprising move. It's historic that Angola state-owned diamond company ENDIAMA has made a bid, fully funded, to acquire a majority stake in the legendary diamond giant DBS, which is a space where Botswana has been playing at.